Hello gamers and gamerettes at GameSpot, and welcome to my special edition Now Playing. This is Now Playing number 79, and it's special for two different reasons. One, this is a video blog, and two, instead of 6 separate entries, I've decided to talk about all 6 Vita games in one entry. So we'll start with the first one that I started, and that is Uncharted Golden Abyss. And I'm about 12 chapters into it, and what do I think so far? It's pretty good. But it doesn't have that same kind of impact that that the PlayStation 3 Uncharted gave you, especially 2. But yeah, for a handheld game, it's still pretty fun. It's still worth checking out if you have a Vita or if you're thinking of getting a Vita. Graphically, it's pretty impressive, but because it doesn't display at its native resolution, you see jagged edges, rough edges, around the corners here and there. But it's really no big deal. Once you kind of get lost into the game, you don't notice. As far as the gameplay goes, again, it's not as fun as the console versions, but still for a handheld game, for a handheld Uncharted, it's still pretty fun. The gunfights, they just don't seem to be on the same level yet. But of course, I'm only 12 chapters in. It might get more exciting in the later half of the game, which kind of seems to be the franchise standard. And as far as the touch controls, I just feel like the touch controls were kind of tacked on. It's like they just kind of did it to kind of appeal to the iPod crowd. It's gimmicky, with the rear touchpad, moving your fingers back and forth, or touching the path that you want Nathan to climb around. It just, it's the conventional controls are just much better for that because you don't have to take your fingers off the controls to do another function, to do a simple function. But the one thing I did kind of like, though, there's this section in the game, and it's the last section I just played, where he falls down a mudslide, and you're tilting the Vita to move Nate out of danger from, sliding into rocks and stuff. So that was pretty fun. So yeah, I mean, if you are thinking of getting a Vita, or if you have a Vita already and you like the Uncharted games, then go ahead and get it, but see if you can get it for less than $50, because I don't really think that it's worth the $50 that they're asking for. I only think that they're asking for that price because of the Uncharted name. But yeah, anyway, that is Uncharted, and we'll see if the second one can make the same kind of improvement that Uncharted 2 did over the first. So the next game that I started, it was a pack-in game of my first edition bundle, Little Deviants. And if you don't know what Little Deviants is, think of it kind of like, a glorified tech demo. It's a game comprised of a whole bunch of different mini-games that takes advantage of the unique features of the Vita. And the Deviants, think of them as sort of like, raving rabbits. They're kind of whimsical, they're kind of crazy, kind of loony. They're not quite as funny, but, they're still charming. And the story with Little Deviants is that these deviants crash landed onto this planet, and their ship blew up into a bunch of different pieces. So you go around and you play all these little mini games, and I think if you get a bronze rating or better, then you get a ship part, and so you're just trying to construct your ship back together again. The mini games, they test all the different features of the Vita, from the rear touchpad to the motion sensing to the camera, possibly the accelerometer. I've had one game where it had me manipulate the rear touchpad to raise up a hill out of the ground and push my character, who was a ball, around and try to get a key to open up a portal and escape. And then there was also one that you saw my previous video, where I was moving the Vita around, finding invading enemies and shooting them down. And then they had another one where you're this sort of a deviant that's on fire, and you touch the back of the rear touchpad to kind of tickle him and get him to fill up this hot air balloon full of air so that he can continue to go skyward while you're tapping at all sorts of birds who are trying to destroy your hot air balloon. Then they had one that was kind of hard for me. It was Death Chaser or something like that, where you're on a rocket and you're tilting the Vita to steer him out of obstacles and stuff. But it's pretty fun for what it is. By itself, it costs $30, and I think that might be a little too much because I don't think that is going to offer that much replay value. But the cool thing is, you can challenge friends on your playlist or on your friends list who have the game, and you can challenge them for high scores. So if you beat a high score and you want to challenge somebody, you can go ahead and do that, and then if they beat it, they can challenge you again. So it has that kind of aspect to it. So that little deviance is out of the way. The next one that I started is Wipeout 2048. And I can't wait to spend some more time with this, because I've spent about maybe 45 minutes. I've done about 5 or 6 races, and it is a lot of fun. If you really enjoy Wipeout games, then I recommend getting this with the Vita. So, in my opinion, it's probably the best looking game on the Vita so far on an artistic level. And because of the bright colors, the neon, the flames, the special effects, and the sense of speed, it is really fast, like Wipeout is known for. The career mode kind of reminds me of the career mode from like the Ridge Racer game, like the Ridge Racer 6 and 7, where you have different kind of branching paths. You can start out at a certain place, do some events, and then you have a choice to do others. There's like standard races without weapons, with weapons. There's time trials, and they got something called zone mode or something like that. What zone mode is they take a track and they sort of apply this kind of like psychedelic kind of Tron-like graphics to it, and you just kind of fly around the track, and I think each lap is like 5 zones or something, and every 5 zones it gets faster and faster, and the catch is you can't brake. So you're basically just trying to control, kind of survive as long as you can, and then if you keep hitting walls, you lose ship integrity, and then eventually you'll blow up. I also really like the music too. There was this Chemical Brothers track that I heard, but unfortunately it doesn't give you the track names of the music that starts whenever a race starts, so that makes it kind of hard to identify the songs that are really cool, so you can look them up and try to get them somewhere else. So that is out of the way. The 4th game that I started is Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, and this is the game that I really want to spend a lot of time with, because I really love the Hot Shots golf games, and I've also loved like Panya, which was a lot of fun. Golf, these golf type games are extremely addictive to me. And it's actually been a while since I played Hot Shots Golf, but from what I remember, it plays, World Invitational plays just like the old ones. As far as visuals, it looks fantastic. It's the greens look almost lifelike. The gameplay, the one thing that I kind of wish they did was a tutorial mode. There really is no tutorial mode in there, so if you're brand new to Hot Shots, you're not going to do good. I mean, it just doesn't introduce you to any of the mechanics. You actually have to go into the virtual manual, read the whole thing to understand how to do top spin and power shots and other things like that. And like loyalty is not explained to you. I had to kind of go elsewhere. Like I had to go on the net and kind of look up loyalty and look up like some of the advanced shots so I knew how to do them. But that's kind of why I wish that they give us our paper manuals back, because I prefer paper manuals than having to hunt up a virtual manual. It's just, I don't know, I'm old-fashioned. But yeah, the game is fun, and it's also kind of hard too. I've done about 4 tournaments, and one tournament, like on the 8th hole, I was -5, and I was really happy. So then on the 9th hole, I ended up getting like a +7, or what was it? No, what was it? I was 4 over, I think. No, anyway, you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, Hot Shots Golf is definitely a lot of fun, and I haven't tried it online yet, but supposedly it's supposed to be a lot of fun online too. So the next one is Mod Nation Racers Road Trip. And the funny thing is, I didn't even want it. When I was at Best Buy, I just decided to pick it up because I still had, free credit on my coupons. So I decided to buy it, even though that I have the PlayStation 3 version that's still sealed. So this is the first time, with Road Trip, it's the first time that I played a Mod Nation Racers game. And I spent a little time designing my character, designing my car, and designing a track. And it's really easy to design a track. I don't know how it compares to the PlayStation 3 version, because like I said, I haven't played it. But it is a lot of fun. The one thing that I've noticed is there was a complaint in the GameSpot video review where the frame rate was kind of stuttering, and I definitely saw some dips in the frame rate. It's not as smooth as it should be. I mean, especially when Wipeout 2084 is so smooth. But the gameplay mechanics, it's a fun kart racer. So, you know, if you really enjoy the Mod Nation 3, I'm sorry, the Mod Nation Racers on the PlayStation 3, you're probably going to like this one. So if you get a Vita, go ahead and get Mod Nation Racers. But I think it was $40, so try to see if you can get a little cheaper. So the final game, and pardon me, I'm getting kind of out of breath. This is taking a lot out of me. This is like my 9th or 10th try, so, you know, just take what I give you. My final game is Luminous Electronic Symphony. And it is luminous. And it's like riding a bike. You know, you just don't forget. You don't forget how to play it. So when I decided to do what's called Journey is their the single player mode where you go through every single skin, you know, as you're unlocking them, and then you play the last skin and it kind of loops from the first one. I did that in the first try. I amassed a score of like 680,000, I think. And, you know, I'm definitely glad that I got this game. I think $40 is a little unfair, though, because it should be, in my opinion, it should be 30 because it's a puzzle game, and puzzle games shouldn't be any more than $30 in my opinion. But the visuals, they have new graphics for, like, you know, new backgrounds for the music. They got new graphics for the blocks. Some of the stages have, like, kind of 3D blocks. It almost looks like it's, you know, 3D, like, not stereoscopic 3D, but the other kind of 3D. And I haven't really messed around with all the other modes and options. I've only done Journey once. So eventually I want to get back to it, but I'm kind of staying away from it on purpose because I get addicted to games like Luminous. I bought Luminous for the first PSP, and I played it so much that I didn't spend enough time with the rest of the launch titles, and it just felt kind of unfair. So I wanted to make sure I didn't make that same mistake with the Vita, so that's why I left Luminous as my last game to play. So, with those games out of the way, I also wanted to comment on the Vita itself, and I think the Vita is a great system, but it does have a few flaws. For one, it times out, it goes to sleep too quickly, but of course that's easily changeable if you just go to the settings. But it maxes out at 5 minutes. You can't extend the sleep mode any longer than that. It's quick to get out of the sleep mode, but it's just sort of annoying because every time that you wake it, you have to swipe at it to open up the screen again. It's just sort of like a smartphone. And also too, kind of wanted to show you this because this is an eyesore. Yeah, see, you're met with this every time that you wake the system. So you got to swipe it out, and then let's see here. I'm actually in the middle of a game. But yeah, see, I got 4 game icons on here, and I got 2 more down here. Now, this is what I really hate about this system. It installs a little data from every game card that you put in, and I can understand, you know, if you're installing all of your games fully, you know, through digital download, you know, yeah, it's nice because, you know, instead of trying to look up, you know, which games that you have, it's right there, you just tap it. But, you know, when you're like me and you're using the cards, it doesn't make sense to have an icon for every single card. It's just, with the 3DS, you have one spot for a game card, and that was it. That was your go-to spot for a game card. And, I don't know, it just makes it, like the home screen, I can just see the home screen getting incredibly cluttered when you have too many icons. But those are really the only 2 major complaints, little nitpicks with the system. Other than that, I have no regrets. So that is my special edition video blog, and I'm sorry it didn't turn out better, but I just don't have any more energy for any more retakes. So thanks for watching.